Hi everyone. Okay, we're going to try this again. I played back the video and it was like all wonky, wonky, wonky. So I think my connection was off and I'm back. So we're going to give this a go again. All right, so welcome to Mondays with Meg, a great way to start off your week and by using mastery tools for intentional living. So I'm so glad that you decided to join me. So this week I'd love to talk about this idea of rumination and control. What do I mean by that and how are they related? It's been my experience in my life that when I can't get off the merry-go-round in my mind, I call it the rumination wheel. At the core, at the foundation of this not pleasant experience are two things: control and avoidance. It's this idea of wanting to control something, someone, a situation, and the rumination wheel for me is simply a distraction to help me avoid issues within myself that I don't want to confront, because we know that it's so much easier to look outward, pointing the finger, versus doing the hard work of going inside and healing. So it's this desire within me to try to make a situation or something other than it is. So think about that for a second. Trying to make a situation, a person, or an experience something other than they or it is. That's a pretty big feat. But I think a lot of times that's what causes laying in bed at 3 a.m., PO'd about whatever, whomever, right? So I have two questions for you if you want to put in the comments below, or if you're watching this later. I'd love to hear from you. Number one, what triggers rumination in you? And number two, what helps you stop ruminating? So I don't know about you, but when I think about it, it's really monumental. When you sit in rumination, you're literally stuck in this vortex of pain and frustration, trying to make really something different than it is. And the truth of the matter is, the only reality that you can change or shift is your own reality. So I love Byron Katie's work. If you haven't heard from her, check her out. One of my favorite books is called Loving What Is. And it's a super simple process to move away from suffering within our minds. At least it has been for me. And it's been a godsend to help me hop off the rumination wheel in different areas of my life. So I'm going to share with you her 4 steps shortly, but just a quick story. So recently I've been through a little bit of a difficult time in my life with a few personal things. And it knocked me off course for a bit. And I discovered that I have a very difficult time sitting with the pain, sitting with being uncomfortable, with the sadness or the loneliness. I tend to, in my life, run to other things with, busyness or a new project or just different things to avoid feeling unpleasant. And so it's these avoidance strategies that I use in my life not to deal with what is. And so, but this time I did something very different. I walked through the pain. I sat with the pain. It's kind of like when you're in a reality, right? It's like being in a room and you want to get to that other room. That's that new reality. But there's a hallway. We have to walk through that hallway. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long, and sometimes we get drawn back into the old room. But we really have to walk through the dark hallway. And a lot of times it's on our own. And yes, we have the support of other people, but at the end of the day, the action lies within us. So again, I'd love to share this process because this process helps not only with the rumination and trying to control people or situations, it also helps with stepping away from these avoidance strategies, these avoidance mechanisms of not being with ourselves, honoring ourselves and how we feel. So again, this is my own interpretation of her steps, but the first thing you do is that you think of a person that you're upset with. So if you're lying in bed ruminating, or you're pointing the finger at someone, think of this person and think of how they make you feel, or the words or adjectives that you would use to describe them. So you create a statement about someone. So for example, you're really upset with your friend Priscilla. And I joked on the last live, I don't know anyone by the name of Priscilla, so I think that's a safe bet. I know Priscilla Presley, but not personally. Anyway, so Priscilla, my friend, she just pisses me off. She bailed on me for dinner tonight. This has been a pattern. She's always blowing me off. She is so self-involved and inconsiderate. Now there's a statement, right? So that's step one. Step two is you ask yourself, is that statement true? And at first I'm thinking, well, yeah, she blew me off. She's inconsiderate. She's self-involved. But then you ask yourself, is that really, really true? Actually, no. Priscilla's not always self-involved, and she doesn't always blow me off. Third step, what kind of physical sensations come up in your body when you have this thought about Priscilla? Maybe a tightening in your chest, or you just get heated up or angry, or a knot in your stomach. And the fourth one, so powerful. You ask yourself, okay, so what would my life experience be like today without this thought, without these feelings? And I love that because we are in charge of our thoughts and our feelings. And sometimes all it takes is a little shift. And then the final thing that you want to do for extra credit is what's called, I believe, the turnaround. It's not an opportunity to judge yourself, but just with curiosity, you ask yourself a question of, have I ever been self-involved? Have I ever blown someone off? Have I ever been inconsiderate? So it just kind of softens the edges and we have more compassion for other people. And we realize that it's really not about us. They're dealing with their own stuff. So I just love these steps because it moves us away from trying to control someone or an outcome, but it also is a way to acknowledge how we feel and then to let it go. So just for fun, play with me a bit. Think of someone that has triggered you or someone that you have been upset with recently, and make a statement about that person. Use a few adjectives to describe them. Then ask yourself, is this true, what I'm saying about them? And if your answer right away is yes, ask yourself again, is this really, really true? And if it is yes again, you have to read the book because there's a whole other process for that. But if it's no, not so much, move on to step 3. What feelings in your body, what's evoked in your body when you think these thoughts, when you feel these feelings about this person? So just come up with a few adjectives. And fourth, what would your life experience be like right now, here with me, for the rest of the day, this evening, if you didn't have these thoughts in your head? Would you feel lighter, lovelier, happier, more present with yourself and others? And then the final one is, and this is a great one, when in my life have I been this way? When in my life have I exhibited these qualities, this behavior? So I hope this helps. And this is the goal of these Facebook Lives, is to come to you and share with you tools and tips and solutions that work for me and with my clients. So I can't wait to see you guys next week. If you're on Instagram, check me out. I've got 1-minute mojo tips every day, and I'm starting to bring other people in that have their wisdom and advice for us. And I'm so glad that you showed up today to be with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.